G'day and welcome to the Explainer. Before we jump right into things, just a quick heads up to set the stage. This Explainer is strictly for educational purposes. All right, let's get into it.
Today, we're taking a good hard look at something that's basically become a modern-day badge of honor. We're asking the big question: is multitasking actually killing your productivity? We'll be diving straight into the hard science behind both the merits and the demerits of trying to do it all at once.
So, be honest with me for a sec. Do you consider yourself a highly efficient multitasker? I mean, you might even be listening to this right now while smashing out an email or scrolling on your phone. Especially for us Aussies, we really pride ourselves on that hard yakka, right? Juggling a million things at once. But what if juggling all those tasks is actually the exact thing slowing you down?
Here is our roadmap for today. We'll be looking at 1. The great multitasking myth. 2. The attention bottleneck. 3. The uni and remote toll. 4. Are there any merits? 5. Embracing deep work. And finally, 6. Strategies for monotasking mastery.
Section 1. The great multitasking myth. You know, there is a massive difference between true concurrent multitasking, which is genuinely doing two things at the exact same time, and what's called serial task switching. And cognitive psychology shows us that almost all of what we call multitasking, it's actually just that second one. We're just rapidly switching from task to task. And the kicker is, every single time we switch, say from a spreadsheet over to a quick instant message and back, our brain leaves behind this really harmful attention residue. We're literally forcing our brains to constantly recalibrate. 40%. Seriously, let that sink in. According to data from the American Psychological Association, that is the toll of all this mental friction. Shifting between tasks can reduce your overall productivity by up to 40%. You might feel like you're getting twice as much done, but you're actually working slower and you're making way more mistakes. Why? Because your brain has to continuously go through this exhausting process of goal shifting and rule activation.
Section 2. The attention bottleneck.
Picture your brain's central processor as this massive, wide-open cognitive highway that suddenly crams into a tiny, single-lane tunnel. When two complex, demanding tasks try to pass through that tunnel at the exact same time, like drafting a tricky email while analyzing some data, one of them just has to wait. In cognitive neuroscience, this is known as the bottleneck effect. Your brain simply cannot process multiple demanding cognitive streams concurrently. It literally forces a delay, which causes a massive traffic jam right in your working memory.
Section 3. The uni and remote toll.
When researchers look at active computer windows during university lectures, there's a really clear split. You've got productive tasks, like viewing course material, and distractive ones, like web surfing or instant messaging. Research shows Aussie uni students are constantly dividing their attention during lectures. And because of that bottleneck effect we literally just talked about, messaging or surfing the web while trying to listen to a lecture severely degrades memory retention. You just cannot encode deep learning while your brain is constantly fighting off distractions.
But hey, it's definitely not just students feeling this toll. For remote professionals, this kind of fragmented attention causes some serious mental fatigue. Just think about your average video call. You're trying to monitor the speaker's face, read the lively chat window, check your own camera to make sure you look all right, and maybe sneak in a reply to a side email. This intense, divided attention completely overloads our cognitive bandwidth. It is a massive driver of what we now call Zoom fatigue and long-term burnout.
Section 4. Are there any merits? Now, to be completely fair in this explainer, we have to ask, is it really all bad? Well, when we ground our analysis in academic research, like comprehensive reviews of individual time management strategies, we actually see a much more nuanced picture. While the general consensus strongly warns against trying to do complex tasks concurrently, research highlights that effective time management isn't just about totally ignoring everything else. It's about understanding exactly how our brains handle different types of sensory inputs and tasks.
So the key takeaway here is that there actually are highly specific situations where dual tasking has genuine psychological merits. For instance, heavy media multitaskers can actually be exceptionally good at multisensory integration, like rapidly pairing an unexpected auditory cue with a visual search. Plus, we are perfectly capable of combining a low-cognitive automated physical task with a demanding cognitive one. Going for a walk while having a deep conversation, that actually works beautifully. Walking is just an automated motor task handled by a totally different part of the brain, which completely frees up your attention to talk.
Section 5. Embracing deep work. But for those complex tasks that really matter, the ones that actually advance your studies or your career,
We desperately need an antidote to the cognitive damage of task switching. This brings us to a concept popularized by author Cal Newport, who splits our daily efforts into two distinct camps. First, there's shallow work. These are your non-demanding logistical tasks. Think answering emails or rapid-fire instant messages. You can do these while slightly distracted, no worries. But then we have deep work. This is professional activity performed in a state of absolute, distraction-free concentration. It pushes your cognitive capabilities to their absolute limit. Deep work is what creates true value, and it requires 100% of your focus.
So, how do we actually master this? Well, you've got to build a really strict routine around it. Step 1, choose a location that is completely distraction-free. Step 2, dictate the duration. Start small, maybe just 15 minutes, but set a strict limit. Step 3, define the structure. Are you allowed to check the internet at all? Make the rules explicitly clear to yourself. And step 4, gather your requirements beforehand. Get your coffee, your notes, your software, get the whole shebang ready right from the start, so you don't have to break that precious focus once you're in the zone.
Section 6. Strategies for Monotasking Mastery.
If you want to reclaim your attention bandwidth, you absolutely have to actively block digital distractions. Seriously, consider kicking off a 30-day digital declutter. Remove those social media apps from your phone just to break that awful addiction to task switching. And when you sit down to work, turn on that Do Not Disturb mode. Research out of Harvard highlights a pretty shocking truth. Even a tiny 3-second interruption can literally double your risk of making errors. Those little pings and buzzes are absolutely devastating to your cognitive flow.
Next up, we need to manage the mental load. Experts over at Harvard Health actually advise choosing strictly your top 2 priorities for the day. That's it, just 2. We so often get caught in that nasty multitasking trap simply because we try to take on way too many projects at once. By clearly defining just 2 main priorities for the day, you drastically ease the burden on your working memory, and you steer clear of that constant task switching trap.
And, how you stop working is honestly just as important as how you work. You should really implement a daily shutdown ritual. Our capacity for deep work is completely finite. We only have a few good hours of peak concentration in the tank each day. By formally reviewing your to-do list and literally shutting your laptop at the end of the day, you're giving your brain a very clear signal to rest. This replenishes all those attentional resources so you're primed and ready to focus deeply again tomorrow.
I want to leave you with this incredibly powerful thought from the late Stanford professor Clifford Nass. He pointed out that our brains are plastic. They are not elastic, meaning we mold them through our daily habits, but they don't just magically snap back into their original shape. If we're constantly training our brains for distraction by multitasking all day, we risk permanently losing our ability to be laser-focused. We are literally wiring ourselves for chronic distraction.
So here's my challenge to you today. Can you log off right after this explainer finishes, shut down all those notifications, and try just 15 minutes of pure, uninterrupted monotasking? Reclaim your focus, protect your cognitive bandwidth, and just see how much more you can actually achieve when you stop trying to do absolutely everything at once. Thanks so much for joining me on The Explainer today. Now, go get some deep work done.